As you can see, this is the map of the Horn of Africa, and all the refugees are coming from the Horn of Africa because there is instability, there is disorder, and there is drought, poverty, and a lot of things which drive people to leave their country and to go to other country. Actually, they come to Eastern Sudan by sea and by land as a transit place to go to Europe, and then you find them die in the sea or in Sinai desert. Actually, as I said, the three countries which export refugees to Eastern Sudan are Eritrea, Ethiopia, and Somalia. Eastern Sudan witnessed refugees from Eritrea since 1960 when they started the liberation war in Eritrea, and there were about 800,000 Eritreans. This is the official number, but the real number is more than that because we have tribes which are divided between Sudan and Eritrea. And there are also Ethiopians, they come from Ethiopia because there is, as I said, there is disorder and conflicts, and you know the population of Ethiopia is 100 million people. 40 million are Oromos, and they are having problems, and they come to work in Sudan in domestic jobs in Khartoum with the also the Somalis, you know, they left their country because of these problems, and they come to Sudan for as a transit country to go to Europe or America. Sudan was ranked as the fourth largest exporter of refugees in the world. But if you look at it, the second and the third are Somalia and Afghanistan, and we cannot call them countries because there are no governments there. And Sudan is also was pointed out by an American official as one of the main countries which are working in human trafficking. Slide 2, please. Yeah, as I said, this is refugees from Eritrea. We mentioned this. Go to the other one, please. 3. These are the tribes which are divided by. Yeah, the tribes which are divided between Eritrea and Sudan are Beni Amir, Habab, Rashaida, Shukriya. And therefore, these people, when they come from Eritrea to Sudan, they become Sudanese. And when they go from Sudan to Eritrea, they are Eritreans. And this, we have to admit, you know, that there are colonial borders and there are ethnic and blood borders. All these borders are artificial, and they were made in Berlin in closed rooms. Okay, they didn't recognize what it, and they didn't appreciate the unity of the tribes. Okay, but for history, we have to know that part of Eritrea and until Harar in Somalia and Ethiopia used to be part of Eastern Sudan. This is about Ethiopia. As I said, the population of Ethiopia is 100 million. Imagine that our neighbors are 100 million. They can emerge, you know, Sudan. Okay, good. And these are our brothers, the Somalians, are running away to Sudan as a transit place to go to reunite with their families in America and Europe. Impact of refugees in Eastern Sudan. You know, Sudan is one of the most marginalized areas. Eastern Sudan is the most marginalized areas in Sudan, according to NGO SO Sahel, which points out that there is low levels of rainfall an increasing incidence of drought, increasing competition over an already limited natural resource basis, growing pressure on limited public services and infrastructure, and a saturated informal economy that is leading to growing levels of unemployment or underemployment. Actually, also the refugees, they have destroyed and polluted the environment. 450,000 acres of forest were demolished by the refugees. But at the end of the day, they are our brothers and we have obligation to them. But we want this is too much for the Sudanese to help the refugees. The international community should intervene and help in this. Map of human trafficking. Yeah? This is the map of the human trafficking. You will find it all goes through Eastern Sudan, either to Sinai or to Europe by sea. Therefore, Eastern Sudan was forced to be in the middle of the international conflict or the regional conflict between Israel and the Arabs. And actually, the human trafficking, that one, this was described, human trafficking was described by the EU ambassador as human trafficking is a serious violation of human rights and is a crime that strips people of their rights, ruins their dreams, and robs them of their dignity. It is a global problem and no country is immune. Human trafficking was there in Eastern or Sudan, between Sudan and Saudi Arabia, historically. Recently, America, as I said, America classified Sudan as one of the main human trafficking, which is practicing, Sudan is practicing human trafficking. Human trafficking has flourished now for, as I said, for many reasons. One of them, we have to look, as my colleague said, to the causes and not to the results and the consequences. The causes of illegal migration and human trafficking is what? It is here from Europe. It is not from the grassroots. Europe has banned the legal migration to Europe, and they have created a lot of obstacles on their visas to come to Europe. This is what has flourished the human trafficking. One of the reasons is that the availability of weapons which was left from the weapons which were left from the wars in the region in Ethiopia, Eritrea, Somalia, or even in the borders of Sudan. The need of refugees to travel to Europe and their ability to pay the high cost. The presence of adventurous people with fast four-wheel drive cars from certain tribes who were famous for smuggling. The implications of security staff according to the international organizations and victims' statements. The enormous amount of money and international network involved in this trade. The vast borders of Sudan, which is 900 kilometers between Sudan and Ethiopia, 600 kilometers. 5 minutes left? Okay. Yeah. The gangs of human trafficking also, they are kidnapping young boys and girls and asking for ransom. Implications of security. Yeah, the implications of security staff in Sudan and Egypt, they are involved. You know, security people are involved because there is a lot of money. And here, this guy, lucky guy, he's a lucky guy. He was caught as a suspect of the chief of a gang. And then when they deported him to Italy, they found that he's the wrong person and he was lucky to have asylum in Italy. Yeah, this is as an evidence of, the next one, as an evidence of, and the problem is the international military intervention in the Red Sea, because they said they are fighting the pirates, but they have shot many poor Sudanese fishermen, and they were raiding the convoys, the Sudanese convoys on the coastal area in Eastern Sudan, and even the capital itself was bombarded. Yeah, next one. Yeah, the UN. Yeah, the UN limited role of UN in refugee issue. You know, the UN wants to get rid of the refugees, and Europe wants to get rid of them. Therefore, they want to keep them jailed in Sudan. They went to Sudan, and they gave the Sudanese government money to keep these people there. This is against the international law, because this is a second country. Europe and UN should deal with the causes. They should implement in the original countries democracy, rule of law, human rights. Then they can stop the people from forced migration. The people. Yeah, I go. Yeah, say Europe in an attempt to stop forced migration to Europe. You see, Hungary has built a fence which is 120 kilometers to prevent people from going there. We go to proposals, please. Yeah, this is a fence in Hungary. They want to stop the people. After they come, they reach Europe, they want to stop them. Maybe they will deport them back to Sudan. I think for the proposals, as I said, to solve this problem, is to engage the native administration, clergy chiefs, and political parties in combating human trafficking, establishing, receiving well-equipped points for asylum seekers by sea in the Red Seas, remote coastal villages, extending aid and support from the UN and EU to the local population, building training institutes, agricultural and industrial projects for both refugees and local people, restoring the environment, promoting health, education, nutrition, and prevention medicine, eliminating chronic diseases, TB and HIV, and malaria, building hospitals, schools, and roads. Thank you very much.